Welcome to Narrowboat at Jamesville. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. We are in just outside Bugbrook. We've had a most idyllic evening here. It's been really kind of remote and quiet, but we are about to get cracking. We've got a really early, well, we've got an early start. We've got a long way to go today. Quite a few locks to get up towards Norton Junction, and then if we can get to Watford Flight, then we've got a load of locks to get up there. But I think you can only get up there when it's manned. And I've heard loads of reports about being really busy and taking hours to get up there. So if we can, that is our plan, is to get through Watford Flight today and possibly even get to Crick. So let's get cracking. Okay, we are closing in on Weedon Beck. It's about 10 o'clock now. But the views round here are just absolutely stunning. Really high up. All the canal side properties are looking at their finest. So yeah, it's been a lovely morning cruise. Weedon Beck, next stop. Right, we are in Weedon Beck, and that was my first ever overnight mooring on this boat. So now there's an aqueduct coming up, and I'm just going to moor up there, turn the engine off and wait for Rob. Okay, I'm through Weedon Beck. Kind of couldn't find any decent moorings there, so I'm just going to look for something along here now. Doesn't look like I'm going to find anything here either. It's 10:30, so progress is pretty good. Comes just passing that hire boat that completely T-boned the bank, so they could get out and take a photo of that crane. Right, coffee time. Right, that was not a very long stop. Rob's taken off and we are now going to the bottom of the Buckby Flight to Wilton Marina. They might have some Craftsmaster there, but what they definitely have there is a really nice cafe. I went there a few years ago. Right, this is the long straight bit now, closing in on Wilton Marina, which is our lunch stop. It's about 11:30, so we get there for just gone 12. There's a little chandlery there as well, so a good chance to peruse some bits and pieces. And then we got the Buckby Flight, which is 7 locks. And then we've got Norton Junction, which is where we turn off the Grand Union main line and we turn onto the Leicester line. And from there, the next major thing is the Watford Flight, which is another 7 locks. And that's really what we got to get to as quickly as we can, because there might be a bit of a queue of boats getting up there. It's 1 up, 1 down. There's 7 locks and it's manned, and I don't think you're allowed to go through once the CRT have stopped manning it. So we really want to get there as quickly as we can so we can check in with the lockies. That's the plan. Right, Wilton Marina is quite a big one, and I can see one of their big kind of sheds over there. This is the kind of the long straight bit now until we get to the bottom of the Buckby Flight, which is where Wilton Marina is. It's also the bit that is closest to the M1. Not that I can hear anything over the sound of this Lister, but I'll be looking forward to stopping because I'm a boat sandwich at the moment, so I've got a fuel boat ahead of me and a double fuel boat behind me, and there's no real room for them to get through because all these narrows are kind of a few hundred metres. So I'll be pulling over just before the lock, which I can now see ahead of me underneath this bridge, and then I can have some lunch. Right, I can see Rob has moored up just along here, along the Armco, but we're quite a long way from the lock. Obviously we're going to stop for lunch, so we're not going to get anywhere near the lock landing, but from this point I'm curious how busy this is going to be getting up this flight. And there's no room for the fuel boat behind me, who's literally right on my arse. There's no room for them to get through because there's boats coming against me here. Tucked in as much as I can, but no room for them to pass until I get behind Rob there. Well, we've moored up by Wilton Marina, so we're going to go get ourselves some food and check our position on the map book, but we're not going to dilly-dally. We've got to crack on. We've got loads of locks ahead of us. Looking forward to this. Waiting for our breakfast to be cooked. Well, we're having an all-day breakfast for lunch. Just popped right next door to the chandlery. This is like heaven, this place. I used to come here quite regularly when I was making slow patrol at North Kilworth. This was one of the chandleries of choice. But no craft master, unfortunately, so just breakfast here. Have you got fried bread?
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Breakfast and chicken.
Fried bread is lovely, but it's harder.
Right, there's a couple of boats coming down through the lock now, so we've got to cast off pretty quickly so we can get through the set lock gates for us. Right, going past Wilton Marina here, about to go into the first of the 7 locks. There's a 17 metre rise here, and the locks are fairly spread out over about a mile and a bit. So it's going to take us a fair few hours to get up this. Right, we've done bottom lock number 13. The flight is manned today, but only one volunteer, and he's taking a boat all the way up. So we might see him kind of halfway, maybe. So we're doing speed locking again. Right, this is our 3rd lock of the flight. As I approach our 3rd lock, the offside vegetation means that landing on those steps is not particularly easy, so I'm going to have to go up the stairs inside the ladder in the lock, which is always a bit gross. Okay, we're about to go into lock 4 of the flight, and it's taken about an hour so far, so we're doing all right for time. Right, it's 2:15. It's kind of dawning on me now that we're kind of halfway through this set of locks before we get, and then we've got to go a little bit before we get to Norton Junction. And then we've got a couple of miles cruise. I think it's 3 miles until we get to Watford. So that's another hour. So I'm kind of thinking we're going to be very close to 5 o'clock. So I'm kind of bracing myself for the fact that we don't get up the flight today, this evening. In which case we still need to kind of step on it because we want to be as close to the front of the queue to go up the flight first thing in the morning, and to maybe even check in with the lockies. So that'll be the plan. So we've still got to get to Watford kind of ASAP. That's one of John's hire boats. I recognise the colour scheme. Lady Sienna. North Kilworth Wharf. Hello, John. Check out North Kilworth Wharf on Google. You'll find their website and get yourself a hire boat. And hopefully John will teach you how to use it properly. Right, entering the 5th lock. All going quite smoothly so far. Right, these are the landing bollards for top lock. So we're at the top of the flight now. We're about to go underneath bridge 11, which is our last bridge on the main line, because after this we turn off at Norton Junction. And then the first bridge is number 1, lock. Right, here we are. We could have done with filling up there, but we've just done the top flight. We're approaching Norton Junction now, and we've heard on the grapevine that the last passage through Watford is just gone 6 o'clock, and that gives us 2.5 hours to get there, which should be plenty of time. It's only kind of 3 miles away from here, so it should be alright, but there's going to be quite a lot of people trying to get up there, we envisage, so we just want to get there as quickly as we can. So the plan will be get through the flight if we can, and then look for water. But Norton Junction is next. So that is the Grand Union Main Line continuation, and we are turning right onto the Leicester line. Right, here we go. Bridge number 1. Oh, the good old Leicester line. Out of the 2 canals I've ever done, this is the more picturesque. Right, this is a particularly exciting part of the journey. Now we've turned onto the Leicester line, which is here, because we had 7 pages to do in the last book. No, 7 pages in total. 6 of them, though, were in that book. The last page is here. So now we're on the last page and the last book. So we are in Birmingham and the heart of England. I just can't believe how many marinas there are, kind of from, I don't know, like Leighton Buzzard onwards. It's just, they're everywhere. Or like, you know, marine workshops and boatyards and stuff like that. They're not all as quite as big as this one. But around where we are, there's P&S, where Project 58 is. There's the thing at Hemel Marina. There's Darren at Cow Roast. And kind of, that's the only thing in our patch. And further south you got Backett Boat, but there's just loads around here. Loads of moorings as well, loads of signs saying moorings available everywhere. All we get down south is no moorings available. Right, this is bridge number 2. It's approaching 4 o'clock, so we've got 2 hours left until the locks close. Still got no idea as to what kind of queue there is ahead of us, although I haven't seen a busting amount of boat movement going northerly. I've seen a lot come south, so I'm kind of half expecting it to be quite quiet. Could be famous last words, obviously. But about 2 miles to go, 2 hours to go. Bridge 2. Right, I'm going under Bridge 5A, which is the railway bridge. That means there are 2 bridges left before we get to Watford Flight. We're closing in. It's gone 4 o'clock now. Bridge 6. Nice little kink in the canal, that one. My anxiety over Crick, or sorry, over the Watford flight, is down to the fact that I've kind of been inundated with people telling me where my mooring is and everything like that. It's all very nice, kind of well anticipating getting to Crick, but they've also said that it's taken, I've heard like varying reports of how long it's taken to get up the flight, from 2 hours to waiting for 4 hours and then taking 4 hours to get up the flight, which sounds horrific. The slow lane of the M1 is about 20 yards on my starboard side. So we are here, we are at the bottom of the lock flight. So it goes winding hole, bridge, lock. I was half expecting to see a whole queue of boats along here, but there's nothing, so this is excellent. It's dawned on me though that these are single locks. The reason there's so many winding holes around here is because this is as far as a Y-beam can go. The Watford locks are narrow gauge, but it also is single, so Rob and I can't go up together, which means if it's 2 hours up the flight, or whatever it is, up the staircase. Oh, it's also a staircase, not a flight, so that'll be something new as well. But if it's 2 hours up per boat, That's 4 hours. It's already approaching 4:30 now. That ain't gonna work. So I'm kind of thinking, first boat to go through, just go all the way through the Crick tunnel and go to our moorings at Crick. And I'm the first boat. Right, here we go. Here's the winding hole. And there's a sign coming up on starboard side. Here we go. Watford Locks. Lockkeeper on duty. That is a very welcome sign. Right, what do we have to do? For the safety of all, please do not blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. The lockkeeper can be found either working on the flight or by the top lock. Please do not enter the locks until you are booked in with the lockkeeper. Right. And there's no one here. Slow patrol is front of the queue. Well, there's no queue. Happy days. May to September. Last boat in, 6:15. Locked at 7 o'clock. But we've got to get both boats up. Right, now my mission is to find the lockkeeper. 7 locks, 16-metre rise. You see, these are narrow gauge locks. Only one at a time. Oh, there's the lockie. Please say there's a boat coming down. That would be amazing. Hello there. Yeah, I'd like to book in. Oh, wow. There's a boat coming in. So they'll go up. Maybe a boat will come down. And then we'll go up on the next one. I can't believe I've seen an Ava on a boat. Okay, right, we are all booked in on the Watford flight. This is tremendous news. That means we will be going to Crick today. And Lockie has told me to go through the first 2 locks myself and dunk myself in the pound just above lock 2. And Rob will go up the first lock and dunk himself in the pound just below lock 2. And then the lockies will bring us up through the actual staircase of locks. So I think the last 5 locks are staircase. You'll see here just one feeds into other. But these locks down here essentially are just normal locks. So I've got to put myself in this pound here. It'd be a nice little place to spend some time to wait. There's no boats coming up apart from Rob and I. I think there's a few coming down. Oh, now there's a bit of a queue forming. What's that? 4 boats? 5 boats? Well, it all works the same, just on a smaller scale. Although 52 foot this rise, so it's not insignificant at all. It's going to feel a bit weird being in there on my own. Right, just as I empty the lock, Rob's filling Slow Patrol's water tank.
I'm having a shower.
Yeah, there's a lot of leaks on your hose, mate. This does seem quite narrow to squeeze my home and everything I own through that little gap. Oh no, wind. I'm in. Right, I've got to get to the stairs, which are halfway up. These are well cute, they weigh nothing at all. Right, now Lockie's doing that one, which is the second lock, so it looks like I might have only had to do one lock on my own, which is a bit of a relief, although it was pretty easy. Oh, Lockie waved me in, I was just about to moor up. Now I'm coming at this in a bit of a weird angle. I hope he doesn't think I'm a numpty. Not much room for error here. I mean, none. This is what a wide beam must feel like going into a broad lock. Well, I'm in. Stay on the boat and keep her in the middle. What I need to avoid is my pram hood hitting that. Okay, forward. So it's a bit of assisted self-serve this at the moment. So Lockie's just gone down to lock 1 to speak to Rob, and he said just open this gate here and put yourself in that pound there, and then he'll take me up the actual flight. Blimey, that's a big one. Right, from lock 3 straight into lock 4. Up the staircase we go. Right, the lockkeeper was telling me that it's never 4 hours up here, even when they're chock-a-block. It tends to be chock-a-block in only one direction, i.e. everyone coming to Crick or going from Crick. And if everyone's going from Crick, you can basically have one boat per lock, and they just take it all down in series like that. It's only when they've got a boat going up, and then a boat coming down, then a boat going up, they've got to wait for it all to clear. But he said there has been a few times, a few years, where there's been 4-hour queues to wait to get up through here. And this is much like the Marsworth summit back home. So at the top of it is the summit, and this is the summit. After lock 7 here, we reach a 23-mile stretch which goes through the Crick tunnel, past Crick, and then kind of makes its way past North Kilworth all the way to Foxton. 23 miles of lock-free canal cruising, although we're not doing that much. Right, here's another really deep one. Well, this is it, the penultimate lock of the flight, and our penultimate lock until we get to Crick. Just one more to go into my last lock, and this will be the next lock I do. Oh, sugar. Hopefully I'll do the next one better. Blimey, that was bad. Maybe I shouldn't have a wide beam. Okay, here we go. We're at the top of Watford Flight. And we're good to go. 7 locks in 16 meters rise, that was. Right, next up we've got a couple of miles and then the Crick Tunnel, and then I think I'm the 7th mooring on the port side. Thank you so much. Cheers. Right, now we are going underneath the M1. I've heard it for the last 4 hours, I think. So to go underneath it and get away from it would be quite nice. Right, this is bridge 7. And then straight after that is bridge 8. That's pretty obvious, but I meant geographically, like literally, I can see it. And I've got about a mile left to go until the Crick Tunnel. Well, not much I really need to do for the Crick Tunnel in terms of preparation, although I might get my coat this time with a hood on it. Right, about half a mile left to go until the entrance to Crick Tunnel. Just taking it nice and slow past these more boats, and then I think we're pretty much there. Right, let's get the raincoat in a sec. Get myself a little straight bit with no boats around, and I'll dart inside quickly. Right, quarter of a mile to go until the tunnel. I've got my raincoat. I've just literally nearly bumped into my old mate Will from Narrowboat. Will. Good to see him. Although I'm passing and I want to get through the tunnel, so we'll catch up at the show. Although his boat's pointing in the wrong direction, so we'll see what he does. Right, not long to go until the tunnel. That guy is enjoying the blossom like I've never seen someone enjoy blossom before. Yeah, that was 9A. Bridge up here is 10, and then that is literally just in front of the tunnel entrance. Right, 1500 metres as well, this tunnel. So what was yesterday's? 2800. So it's kind of like half the distance of yesterday's one. I've met so many people on the way up here, kind of well-wishers, but certainly on the Leicester line it's been like inundated by every other boat. Someone's just said on the way down, I've got to stop, he's got something for the Vitas for Project 58. So I'm expecting a couple of busy days, to be honest, which will be quite nice. It's been quite isolating this last couple of days. Reading the warning things before entering the tunnel. I've set up my comedy horn because I think it's protocol to beep your horn before you enter. So I'm going to do that. Right, here we go. I can see the tunnel. Whoa. Yeah, I can see light through it. Oh, it does look amazing. Hold your ears. Right, tunnel lights are on. $1,397 meters. Oh, maybe slightly different. Please don't let there be a boat. Right, let's go for it. Okay, once again, loads of water vapour I can see in here. But there's one thing I can't see for the moment, and that is lights against me. Right, I've just reached the half-kilometre mark, and depending if you trust the Collins-Nicholson map, which says it's 1,500 and something, or the CRT information, which say it's just shy of 1,400. Well, either which way, I've got about a kilometre left to go. I can see something at the end. Obviously I can see light at the end of the tunnel, but I can see a single beam coming down as well. It's really sunny outside, so it might be something to do with that, like reflecting off something, but it might also be the light of a boat. And I've just looked round, I can't see Rob in the other end of the tunnel yet, so he's on his way. Right, I've just reached the halfway point. 700 meters to go. Right, that light was not a boat. I can quite clearly see the end of the tunnel now. And so far, with about 500 meters left to go, it's okay. I've taken my jacket off because this tunnel is noticeably warmer. Oh, there you go, 500 meters. Noticeably warmer and drier. Oh, hang on, having said that, it's noticeably warmer and drier than the Blissworth. Okay, here we go. 50 meters left. And all of a sudden, there are a lot of boats. Someone said I'm the 7th mooring along. I've had some photos sent to me of like slow patrol sign on a tree, so I guess that's what I'm looking for. And I'm also looking for a hole to have 2 boats in it. Right, here we go. We're out of the tunnel. So I know we're double-breasted. Oh, hang on. There's a man here. Maybe he'll help. You can see the boat name. Can't hear a bloody thing though. Hello. Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Just up here. 6 along, is it? Oh yeah. Right ho. Number 6. Cool, thank you very much. Yeah, Rob's behind, Seraphina's behind me. Yeah, we're together. Yeah, we're going into one. Okay, all the boats look rather nice. Right. Oh, I think this guy here, I can see with the white hat on, might be a subscriber on the channel. I think we're going to be neighbours. Right, here we go. Right, here we are. Here's our moorings. There's our reserved sign. Slightly irritated, they spelt slow wrong and Serafina wrong, but they're good moorings. Here he comes. Graceful as you like.
Just allow your front to
Right, it's all a little bit Jenga-like at the moment, so I'm going to basically go up there, turn my boat around. I've tried doing it here unsuccessfully, so Rob's going to go towpath, I'll go on the outside, but then we'll be bow to stern correctly. Right, I've got to turn the boat around, so I'm moving up here towards the actual show, and there's a services point where apparently I can quickly spin it around. Right, I'm going to turn it around here at the marina entrance, I think, which is on starboard. Luckily, it doesn't seem like there's many people here. Unlike where I moored, where there was like loads of people gathered. Right, let's spin this about. Right, I've turned around, not particularly successfully. Well, I've turned around, so that was successful, but the manoeuvre was not. Right, let's moor up next to Rob again. It's just so good. There's loads of them. Everyone has really taken pride in their boats, and Slow Patrol looks like it's mine. I mean, in fairness, I've tried to keep it as clean as I can, but I'll have a little go with it tomorrow and see if I can spruce her up a bit. Everyone has dressed their boats really well for Crick. The only thing I've done which is remotely Crick-like is that. So last night, after mooring up and having a little jiggle of the boats, we had ourselves a braai on the towpath. The moorings here are quite nice. We're in zone 2, which is quite quiet, right next to the Crick tunnel. I've got a good spot here, just showing all the boats coming through. I mean, there's just a constant stream of boats. I mean, everything is really well dressed, to be honest. I'm pretty sure Slow Patrol is the only one representing the Springer Engineering Company from the 70s. Braid Bar is obviously ruling the roost down there. They all look the same, but they're pretty nice. But I'll have a little gander down there a bit later on and go to the show. And tonight we're having our drinks reception here on the towpath. But yes, it's really nice. I'm kind of outflanked and surrounded by subscribers on the channel, so it's quite it's quite fun. Hiya. Anyway, I'll show you a little bit of Crick over the weekend. Until tomorrow, take care. Bye bye. All right.
Lovely.